Hey guys, welcome to Tabletop Warbands! In this video we are playing Warhammer 40k in a 500 points match which pits the Adeptus Sororitas against the Leagues of Votann. I'm Simone and I will be playing the Votann.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I will be playing the Sisters. Before we start, if you are subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you're not subscribed yet and want to help us, join a growing community now by clicking on the subscribe button. And don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss the next battle reports. Thank you guys!
If you didn't get a chance to see last Saturday's announcement video, we have finally opened up Patreon for our channel. If you'd like to help support the channel, among the various benefits of Patreon, there are access to our Discord server and an additional exclusive battle report per month. We are waiting for you! But now, let's get back to the game. Today's mission is Forward Push. The two armies will have to deploy within these two areas. There are 4 objectives and they're arranged in this way. As secondary objectives, Leagues of Votann have chosen Grudge Match, Attrition and Raise the Banner High, while the Sisters have Sacred Grounds, Defend the Shrine and Slay the Warlord. Both armies start with 3 command points.
Let's move on to the description of the armies. Upon arriving at the site where the Sororitas were to build a shrine, the Sisters were in for an unpleasant surprise. The Sacred Ground was being desecrated by a group of Votann. We can't let them go unpunished. They have to pay for this insolence with their lives. My Sisters are part of the Order of the Argent Shroud, which allows my units to counter stationary after moving or advancing, until the end of the shooting phase. Plus, whenever one of my units fires or fights, I can reroll a hit roll or wound roll. Leading this detachment is the Canoness, with Plasma Pistol and Power Sword. As general trait, I chose Indomitable Belief. Every unit within 6 inches from the Canoness has the ability Shield of Fate improved by 1. As a relic, I chose Mantle of Ophelia, which reduces the damage of any attack made against her to 1. Then there are 2 Battle Sister squad of 5 models each. The only difference between the 2 units is that one of the Sister Superior is armed with a Power Sword and the other with a Chain Sword. To protect the Canoness, there is a Celestian squad with a Simulacrum Imperialis that allows the unit to execute an Act of Fate even if another unit in my army has already performed one in the same phase. Next on the list are the Sister Repentia, a strong melee unit that can tear through the enemy armor with ease. Leading the Repentia is the Repentia Superior, who has abilities that can empower the unit and make sure they reach the target of the charge as soon as possible. Then there is the Seraphim squad. The Superior has Plasma Pistol and Power Sword. 2 Seraphim have 2 mini Stormhands Flamers each, while the last 2 Seraphim have 2 Bolt Pistols each. Finally there is the Penitent Engine, an engine of redemption ready to charge the enemies and redeem their sins. As Secret Rites, I chose Hand of the Emperor, which gives a +1 to every advance and charge roll I make.
Not a moment's respite for the Votann troops. After having faced the bands of orcs, the kin now find themselves attacked by a detachment of Sisters. Perhaps due to a misunderstanding, perhaps due to some clouding of the mind, perhaps out of simple superstition. Whatever the reason, the kin camp is under attack, and there is no time to lose. To war! The kin house belongs to the Greater Turian League, whose rule allows them to reroll a hit or wound roll when a unit makes a shooting attack or fights. The army general is the Aenir champion Kar Karson, whose name was chosen by our community. He is armed with a Darkstar axe and a Weafield crest, which grants him a 4+ invulnerable save and gives him an additional wound. As a general trait, he has Warrior Lord, and as a relic, he has Wayfarer's Grace. The main body of the army consists of 2 units of Urkin warriors. The first consists of 10 warriors armed with Autok pattern bolters, with no additional equipment. The second unit instead consists of 8 warriors with Autok pattern bolter, 1 Etakarn plasma beamer, and 1 Ilas auto rifle. Supporting the 2 units there is a unit of Urkin pioneers, made up of 3 models armed with Magna Coil autocannons. Their task will be to control a flank of the army.
I deployed the Seraphim squad in the skies thanks to their ability Sky Strike. They will join the battle only at the end of the movement phase in the second turn. Since I chose the secondary objective Defend the Shrine, Simone has to choose an objective marker to be the Sacred Shrine. He chose the objective 2. Then I placed the majority of the army mirroring Simone's units to try to secure the objective 2. And on the bottom side, I deployed in cover the Celestian squad.
With only 4 units, I knew that I would finish deploying much earlier than Andrea, so I tried to position the infantry in cover by dividing them on both flanks. The 7th team is hidden behind the container, while the 4th team is on the opposite side. The bikes are central enough, so they can move in either direction as needed. Karl is positioned behind the 4th squad, eager to plant the axe in some frail sister.
Rolling for initiative, grey dice for Votann and red dice for Sisters.
That's a nice 4.
And that's a not so nice 3. At the start of the first turn, I gain my first Miracle Dice, which I can use as a substitute of a random dice roll. This dice is a nice 4, not too bad.
Having the first turn, I have to move the troops forward to get into firing range. The first to move are the King of the 4th Squad, who reach Objective 2. The Urnkins roar the engines of their bikes and move towards the center of the battlefield to control the movements of the Sisters. Karl follows the 4th Squad and positions himself behind them, staying safe from enemy fire and yet close enough to be useful next turn. At the end of the movement phase, the 7th team, which is behind the container, has the opportunity to start performing the secondary objective action Raise the Banner's Eye on Objective 1. The King of the 4th Squad begin their round of shooting by targeting the Sisters Repentia. I use one command point for the stratagem Optimized Volley. For every 6 to hit, with both weapons, the King have an additional hit. 8 shots at 3+ against the Repentia. I can reroll a dice thanks to their league rule. 3 6s giving an additional hit each, so that's 10 successful hits. Strength 4 and Toughness 3, wound at 3+. 8 wounds, not bad.
5+ invulnerable save thanks to the Canoness Sora. Just one save, ignoring wounds at 5+ thanks to the ability Solace in Anguish. Oh wow, that is a beautiful roll. Just 2 deaths for now.
Unfortunately, the plasma rifle is out of range, so only the Eyelash auto rifle remains, with 3 shots at 3+. Triple 5, that's cool! With strength 6, he only needs a 2+ to wound. 3 wounds.
5+ to save. 1 save. Ignoring wounds at 5+, need to save at least 1. Nope, the Repentia leave the battlefield. Unlucky start. The Repentia have an ability called Martyrdom, which gives me a Miracle Dice if the unit is eliminated. Rolling for the dice. 5. That is a good Miracle Dice.
With the Repentia out of the picture, the 3 bikes can focus all their attention on the Penitent engine. The Urnkins are armed with a bolt shotgun, which is unfortunately out of range, and the Magna Coil autocannon, and this is quite useful against the machine. 9 shots at 3+. I can reroll 1 dice due to the league rule. 8 shots hit. Thanks to the strength 7, they can wound at 3+. 5 wounds, that's good!
-1 penetration, so saving with 5+. Just a 6. The Penitent is a berserk killing machine, so he can ignore wounds at 5+. 2 damages each dice, so rolling 8 dice at 5+ to ignore. 5 wounds through are enough to eliminate him, so unfortunate. Both my melee units have been eliminated in the first turn. Finally, it's my turn. I already lost 2 units and that's bad. Need to eliminate some Votann to even the scores. Thanks to my order, I can advance and shoot with my units, so I advance with almost all of them. Starting with the Celestian Squad, which rolls a 2, that becomes a 3 thanks to the mission's rule Quick March. Then I advance with the first Battle Sister Squad, and since I need at least 12 inches of movement, I use my Miracle Dice that added to the movement and the Sacred Rite I chose, it allows them to reach the Objective 3. The next unit to advance are the Canoness and the other Battle Sister Squad, which both roll really low, so I move them just a little bit forward. The last one to move is the Repentia Superior, which reaches Objective 4 and at the end of the movement phase begins to do the secondary objectives mission, Sacred Grounds. Then I spend 2 command points for the stratagem Defenders of the Faith on the Battle Squad on Objective 3 to double the number of shots they make in the shooting phase, and they can only be wounded with 4+ until my next movement phase. The Celestian Squad begins the shooting phase, aiming at the bikes in the middle of the battlefield. Then they shoot them with the Flamer that makes d6 shots. 5 shots that automatically hit, so rolling the wounds at 5+ because of the higher toughness. Just 1 wound.
The Urnkins have the saving throw at 4+. Ouch! Here is the first wound for the bikes.
And now, 5 more shots of the bolt guns at 3+. 4 hit, wounding again at 5+. 2 wounds.
Okay, I have 2 wounds to save at 4+ if I'm going to keep a Urnkin alive. That's it! Easy! Your bike has some burns here and there, but overall it's still running.
Now the Canoness with her supercharged plasma pistol. 1 shot at 2+. Hit! Wounding at 3+ thanks to the higher strength. Wounded!
Oh, that hurts! 6+ to save. Ah, of course, I almost did it. A plasma blast smashed the bike side by side. You'll have to walk home, my dear.
The battle squad near Objective 3 also aims at the bikes, and being in short range, they shoot 20 shots at 3+, thanks to the stratagem used earlier. Rerolling 1 thanks to the order. Nope. 14 hits that wounded 5+ because of the higher toughness. 5 wounds out of 20 shots.
The bikes are suffering all the anger of the sisters. 4+ again. Wow, 4 wounds saved. Perfect. It could have been much worse. Keep this dice, it's all yours. Take it with you on the bike.
The last unit to shoot is the other battle squad, which makes only 5 shots at 3+. Rerolling 1 thanks to the order. 3 hit. Wounding again with 5+. Missed.
At the end of the sister's turn, I have the option to place a judgment token on an enemy unit that is in control of an objective, and I choose the sister squad next to objective 3. I expected the Ernkins to get the attention on Andrea's fire, but the damage they managed to do on my turn definitely made its mark, so I can complain. The Repentia and the Penitent Engine were already eliminated in the first round. This means that the strongest threats in close combat are gone. Now I have to be able to give my best in my next shooting phase before the Seraphims arrive and devastate my rear. Also, I have to stop Andrea from reaching objective 2, so as to prevent him from gaining important victory points.
Fantastic! I already lost both my melee units, but that's not the biggest problem. The thing that bothers me is that out of 36 shots on the bikes, I only managed to deal 4 wounds total. This game is not going too good so far. Fortunately, in the next turn, my Seraphim squad joins the battle and I believe they will impact a lot the source of the game. I only need to survive another round of fire. At the start of the second turn, I gain a miracle dice. 6! Very nice!
At the beginning of the second round, I collect a good haul of victory points. That's 10 for the 2 objectives I control, 4 taken at the end of the first turn for attrition, 1 for raise the banners high, and 2 for the 2 enemy units I eliminated, thanks to the secondary objective Grudge Match, for a total of 17 victory points. For just 1 turn, I'd say it's not bad. In the movement phase, my entire army sets out on the march. The 4th squad stands between Objective 2 and the Sisters, in order to prevent them from reaching it. Carson moves alongside the marker but always staying behind the unit. The 7th team has finished its action on Objective 1 and now moves beyond the container to position itself in sight of the enemy. Last, the Ernkins approach the Sisters at the top of the battlefield. Happy to finally join the shooting phase, the 7th squad targets the Sister squad with the Judgment token. The Sisters have 1 token, but thanks to my league's rule Ancestral Judgment, it counts as having 2. In this case, every 5+ to hit automatically wounds. I also use the stratagem Optimize Volley again for a command point. Each 6 to hit makes an additional hit. 20 shots 3+ on the Sisters. I reroll a dice for the league rule. Nope. There is an additional hit thanks to the 6, plus 5 automatic wounds. Now I have to wound with the remaining 10 dice at 4, due to the stratagem used earlier by Andrea. 4, plus the 5 automatically wounded, that's 9 in total. Good!
Saving 9 shots at 3+. 7! Great roll! But still, 2 Sisters leave the battlefield.
The Ernkins are finally within range of their shotguns and open fire on the same squad of Sisters. 4 shots at 3+. Rerolling a dice. Failed again. It's 1 automatic wound thanks to the 6 and 2 hits I have to wound at 4. Both wound.
Saving again with 3. All saved.
The Magna Coil autocannons unfortunately attack the other Sister squad. It's 6 shots at 3+. 5 hit. With strength 7 they just needed 2 to wound. Oh, great!
No penetration, so saving with 3+. 3 saved, but 2 more Sisters are escorted outside the battlefield.
Carl is finally in range to fire and decides to target the Sisters with the Judgment token. 4 shots at 2+. 2 hits that wound automatically and 2 that I must wound at 4+. I reroll a dice to wound. That's 3 wounds total.
Saving with 3+. Rerolling 1 with a command point. Oh, come on! You can only roll once?
I'm sorry, but there is no way to escape the failed reroll rule. The 4th squad faces the Sister unit and fires on them, a salvo of 16 shots at 3+. 11 hits for them, strength 4 and toughness 3, they wounded 3. 6 total.
Saving again at 3+. Only 3 saved means that the squad is completely destroyed.
Hylas on the Canoness, 3 shots at 3+. 2 out of 3 is okay, with strength 6 and 2 is enough to wound her. Just 1.
Saving with 4+. Saved!
And finally, the Ethakar Plasma Beamer with 1 shot at 3+. I reroll the dice with the league rule. Better. Strength 8, then 2+ to wound. Okay, nice.
invulnerable save at 4+, and to be sure, I use the miracle dice.
I really need to take out that unit of sisters, so the Urnkeys declare a charge on them. They need 6 to reach the unit. I called it! The bikes approach the enemy squad, ready to kill them. The bikes make 3 attacks each, so that's 6 attacks at 3+. An attack wounds automatically for the judgment token. I have to roll to wound with 5 dice at 4+. I roll a dice with a league rule. Way better. That's 4 wounds here plus 1 automatic, 5 total.
No penetration, so saving with 3. Almost! I reroll 1 with a command point. Another 2. And the second battle squad is eliminated from the battlefield.
With the unit destroyed, the bikes can consolidate, impacting the Celestian squad.
This means that the Celestian squad can fight, so they pile in to fight better, and then they try to avenge their sisters, making 12 attacks at 3+. Rerolling 1. 10 hit! The toughness is higher than the strength, so wounded with 5. 4 wounds.
4 attacks to save at 4+. Ouch, this is heavy. I roll a dice with a command point. Okay, one bike was destroyed, but at least the other is still okay. You're left alone, unfortunately. Hold on, I need you.
And the Celestian squad consolidates. Finally, it's my second turn. I gain 10 victory points for the objectives I control, and at the end of the command phase, my Repentia Superior completes the action Sacred Grounds.
Having performed a successful action, the Repentia Superior takes a judgment token, a small gift from the Votann.
My Canoness moves 6 inches forward, and then the Seraphim squad arrives. Since they have to stay further than 9 inches from the enemy units, the only place where they can be deployed is here. At the end of the movement phase, I spend 1 command point for the stratagem Deadly Descent, which makes my Seraphim squad shoot as if it were my shooting phase. They aim their pistols at the Votann squad in front of them, starting with the 46 shots of the Ministorum Hand Flamers. 13 shots that hit automatically, same strength and toughness, so wound with 4. Just 6 wounds.
6 dice to save at 4+. 3 saved, that's good.
Now, the bolt pistols that were supposed to fire 4 shots, but for some strange reason, I rolled 6 dice. 5 hits, wounding with 4. Just 1 wound. That's the dice god punishing me, I guess.
Apparently, they don't teach math among the sisters. I have to save only 1 dice at 4+. Saved, that's it.
And now the plasma pistol, which makes an attack at 3+. Hit, wounding with 3 for the highest strength. Wounded.
I need 6 this time to save. Okay, I'll forgive the mistake about the number of dice rolled. I saved everything. Well, apart from those who died from the flamer.
Shooting phase. The Seraphim squad shoots again at the same target. Ministorum Hand Flamers, 46 shots. 13 again, wounding with 4. Just 3 wounds.
3 dice at 4+. I reroll a dice with a command point. Never mind, failed reroll rule. At least 2 are saved.
And now the 6 shots of the bolt pistols. Wait, again? Did I really believe that I had 2 more pistols than I should have?
Oh boy, there's going to be some grudge to sort out with those Seraphims with 2 additional pistols.
Anyway, hitting with 3+, all hit, wounding with 4, 4 wounds.
Let's say I have to save 4 dice at 4+. And only 1 saved. The Votann have been affected by the strange rules of physics in this part of the world.
Well, you're on Sacred Grounds, it's the Emperor's influence.
Sure, sure.
Plasma pistol, 1 shot at 3+. Hit, wounding with 3, wounded.
For the plasma, I decide to use the Dane, which has a 4+ invulnerable save and 2 wounds. Ah, failed. Damn it. That's 4 kin dead and 1 wound remaining to the Dane. This shooting phase was really heavy on the Votann. It almost seems like they took more damage than they should have.
It's the Canoness' turn to shoot with her plasma pistol on the squad in front of her. 1 shot at 2+. Hit, wounding with 3, wounded.
Being the Dane already wounded, I have to save with him at 4+. Okay, he's safe.
The Celestian squad can shoot even if they're in melee thanks to the pistols. So 5 shots at 3+ on the bikes. Rerolling 1 for the order. 4 hits, wounding with 5, 2 wounds.
The only bike left must save 2 dice at 4+. Oh, even adding the dice I can't make 4. The Urnkin has 3 wounds, so he only has 1 left.
Charge phase. The Seraphim squad charges the Votann unit and need 11 to succeed. Since I really need them in combat, I use my miracle dice, and with the other one, I hope to roll a 5 or a 6. 4. The Canoness needs only 4, so she shouldn't have problems. Double 6! That's the karma coming back.
This universe may have strange rules of physics, but those of karma are quite strict.
The Canoness begins the combat phase with 4 attacks at 2 on the dwarves. Rerolling 1 thanks to the order. All hit! Same strength and toughness, so wounding with 4. Just 1 wound.
The Dane comes forward to parry the blow at 4+. Failing miserably. I use a command point to reroll the dice. No, of course not. The Dane is dead. Long live the Dane. The rest of the squad assaults the Canoness, making 4 attacks at 3+. All hit! They are enraged. 3+ to wound. 3 wounds. Excellent.
Saving with 3. 1 wound through. 4 wounds left to the Canoness.
Now it's the bike's turn, which attacks the Celestians with 3 attacks at 3+. I reroll dice for the league rule. 2 hit. 3+ again to wound. 2 wounds.
Saving with 3+. Both saved. The Celestian responded the bikes with 12 attacks at 3+. Rerolling 1 for the order. 7 hits. Wounding with 5. 4 wounds.
4 dice at 4+. I'll try. Nope. As expected, the bike exploded. The last Urnkin also leaves the battlefield. Dear Celestians, for destroying my unit, you deserve a judgment token. In the moral phase, my 4th squad that was decimated has to take the test, and has to roll a 1 to pass it. Of course not. Combat attrition test. I have to do more than 2 to save the last model. Okay, thank goodness. At least 1 model of the unit remained alive. It can still be useful to me. I honestly thought I already won the match at the end of the first round. Now, I'm not so sure anymore. The arrival of the Seraphims has changed the cards on the table, and now I find myself with fewer units and 2 objectives to control if I don't want to give Andrea 15 victory points for free. The match is completely in the hands of Karl. He will have to step forward and show everyone his worth. Come on, Karl Carson. You're not a Karl, but you are a son of Karl. Your time has come. Karl.
If we don't consider the huge mistake I did while counting the number of pistols of the Seraphim squad, we can say that this round was not too bad. I wasn't able to eliminate the Votann unit holding objective 2, and that will be a problem. But if the Canoness manages to survive the next turn, I think I have a good chance to win the game. At the start of the 3rd turn, I roll for the miracle dice. 2. I'm not sure what to do with that 2. We'll see.
At the beginning of this round, I earn another 10 victory points for the 2 objectives, 1 victory point for the raised banner, 4 points for attrition, and 3 more points for grudge match, reaching 35 total points. Let's go directly to the movement phase. The remaining kin of the 4th squad disengages from combat and positions itself next to the objective. Karl steps forward and positions himself next to the old lady. In the shooting phase, Karl goes first and fires at the Canoness, making 4 shots at 2+. 2 ones. You can do better. I reroll a dice with this rule. Okay, 3 hit. He needs 3+ to wound. 2 wounds.
Saving with 3+. Just 1 dice saved. 1 wound through.
The 7th team is in control of the objective, but is in a good position to be able to fire on the Celestians. I use the stratagem Optimized Volley for a command point. The 6 makes an additional hit. Also, thanks to the Judgment token, I automatically wound with 5. 20 shots at 3+. Oh damn! How many 6s? That's 9 automatic wounds, 7 hits, plus an additional 7 hits, for a total of 14 dice I have yet to roll for wounding. I need 3+. I reroll dice. Okay, 6 wounded plus 9 automatics, that's 15 wounds total. You see? The Votann has math!
Ouch! Saving 15 dice at 3+. Unfortunately, only 7 dice are saved, meaning that the Celestial squad is forced to leave the battlefield.
Charge phase. Karl takes up his axe and runs towards the Canoness, which is not as far away as she would like. Arriving in melee, Karl uses his Mass Driver Accelerator's ability. On a 3+, the old woman suffers D3 mortal wounds. 3! Here comes the mortal wounds! 2 wounds inflicted.
Aren't you ashamed of pushing old ladies? 2 wounds to the Canoness.
My leader begins combat with 8 attacks at 2+ on the Canoness. Rerolling a dice. 7 hit. With strength 6, Karl wounds at 2+. Thanks to the Warlord trait Warrior Lord, I can reroll the dice to wound. Much better, 7 wounds.
Okay, saving 7 wounds at 3+. 5! That's unlucky. The Canoness falls to the ground unconscious.
Congratulations, Karl, it's your second battle and you have already earned yourself a noteworthy nickname, Granny Slayer.
Rolling for the miracle dice since I lost a character. 6, I like it. At the beginning of my third round, I gained 5 victory points for the control of Objective 1. Then, in the movement phase, the Seraphim squad moves towards the Objective 2, trying to contest it. In the shooting phase, the Seraphim shoot everything they have on the enemy leader, starting with the 46 shots of the Flamers. To maximize the shots, I use the miracle dice and roll the other 3 dice for a total of 21 shots. Wounding with 5+, 8 wounds.
That's a lot of shots. 8 dice to save a 2+. No problem for Karl, his armor is pretty strong.
And now, you already know it. 6 pistol shots at 3+. 5 hit, wounding with 5, 2 wounds.
Again 2+ save. Oh no, he suffered a wound.
Plasma pistol shot at 3+. Hit, wounding with 3 for the highest strength. Wounded.
This time he needs 4+ to save. Exactly 4, no problem. With the additional wound given by the Weefield crest, he's now left with 5 wounds.
Charge phase. The Seraphim are close enough to enter combat automatically. The Seraphim squad attacks first, and they make 8 attacks at 3+. Hitting 7, wounding with 6 because of the higher toughness and the -1 of the enemy ram's shield. Missed all. 3 more attacks of the Seraphim Superior's power sword at 3+. 2 hit, wounding at 6, none. Nice combat phase.
Karl is amused by the Seraphim's effort to hit him, so he decides to teach them a few tricks about it. 8 attacks at 2+ on them. All hit, with strength 6 and toughness 3, Karl wounds with 2. Rerolling a dice, 6 wounds.
Saving at 5+, only 2 saved. And with only 1 Seraphim left alive, we can say that the game is over. The win goes to the Votann.
Great job, Karl! The final fight knocking out the Seraphims ensured the victory for the Votann. The second round made me worry a bit, but I should have had more faith in the abilities of the Kin and above all in their resistance. I'm really enjoying playing the Leagues of Votann. They are an army with pretty obvious strengths and they are fun to play with their judgment token system. You guys have earned the right to come here, whether the sisters accept it or not.
Well, this game was closer than I expected. Starting with 8 units against the 4 of the Votann, I thought that I could have won just by controlling the objectives, but the Votann firepower is impressive, and without high strength or armor penetration, it was a living hell trying to eliminate Simone's units. Anyway, the sisters are now in a bad shape, and they didn't manage to reclaim the sacred place for the shrine. The Emperor will not be pleased at all.
Before finishing, we would like to take a moment to thank our first members who have decided to support us on Patreon: Zelerion, Evgen Kinderman, and Guard in Charge. Thank you very much for believing so much in our project. Also, the models you're seeing are from Guard in Charge. We really appreciate your support, it is very important to us. If you guys want to support the channel and enjoy an additional and exclusive battle report per month, or see your models showcased in our videos, the Patreon link is in description. We are waiting for you on Discord.
And if you have come this far, write the word Granny in the comments to let us know. You are the best. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, leave a like and write us in the comments. We are always curious to know what you think.
That's it, guys!
See you next video!